Here's another creepy single for you guys, and I ain't talking about me before I met my wife. The following story is yet another brilliantly chilling reason why you should probably avoid your basement at all costs, or maybe even consider sealing that thing up with holy concrete. Because sometimes your empty basement isn't as empty as it should be. Let's just say the dark and shadows make really good hiding spots. By the way, let me know in the comments what you believe about the afterlife and spirits. Do you believe in ghosts, demons? Where do you think people go after they pass away? Also, remember to send me your creepy security guard confessions at darknessprevails.org. Thank you. The Demon in the Corner by The Moffinator. A long time back, around the time I was 6 or 7 years old, I lived in a neighborhood about half an hour out of Appleton, Wisconsin. To say this place was built on some old gravesite would be disingenuous, but a lot of the homes and surrounding area had an uneasy and oppressive atmosphere noticeable especially when you were alone. Well, my own home was subject to this same uneasiness, and I had plenty of frightening experiences there. This story actually takes place in the home of my only friend at the time, where the worst of these experiences happened. One afternoon in the early fall, just before the heat of summer made its way out of the region, I was spending some time over there at my friend's home, which was a small log cabin up the street from my house. For the first time since meeting my friend, we ended up going down to play in his basement, given that the heat made playing outside less than ideal. At first, I was hesitant. After all, my own basement was dark, creepy, and empty, and I never imagined I could have any sort of fun there. But it turned out not to be what I had anticipated. Not his basement, anyway. His basement was average in size, carpeted, and the insulation in the walls wasn't even visible compared to mine. It was by no means finished yet, but it was far homier than the concrete pit under my house, so I thought this wouldn't be as bad as my young self had expected. After a good while playing with some of the toys down there, the one I distinctly remember the most being Rock'em Sock'em robots, we were having a great time. In the middle of one of our little boxing matches, my friend's mother called from upstairs, asking him to come up for a reason that I cannot really remember after all this time. It's been 15 years after all. Now, if only the rest of the story could be forgotten along with it. As my friend jumped up and made his way up the stairs, I remained on the floor, messing with the little plastic man in the ring, all up until the door at the top of the staircase clicked shut after my friend walked through. In that very instant, the air in the room seemed to drop from a comfortable 70 to a chilly 50, while the lights, few that they were, struggled to even bask the room in even a dim glow. Now confused and slightly distraught, I looked up to the lights to see if they were going out or something, though that wasn't the case. They looked bright as ever, yet their rays seemed to be getting choked out mere inches off of their surface. That's when I noticed the man standing in the far corner of the room. Across the light clutter of boxes and old furniture was a tall man leaning into the corner of the room furthest from my position. He was seated about 5 feet from the bottom of the stairs. His skin was oddly gray and pale. His clothes and hair were so black that it looked as though he was wearing the void itself. His arms were crossed over his chest. The fingers of his hands were thin and came to pointed, blackened tips. By far, his worst feature of all was his face. His eyes looked unnatural. The whites of them were much darker than a normal person's would be, and his pupils looked like heinous black pits. I could see what I can only describe as pure malice and hatred for me when I looked into them. That was the first time in my life I'd ever experienced true dread, as well as the day I knew demons and the supernatural truly existed. And he knew it. He saw it in me. He stared me down from his corner and began to stretch a vile and sinister grin across his face, revealing sharp, needle-like teeth that looked more like the fangs of a feline. At long last, the severity of the situation dawned on me. I knew I had to get away at all costs. I turned away, stood up, and made a sudden break for the top of the stairs. All told, I had to have made it up in a matter of 5 to 10 seconds. With my small hands on the door handle and the door wide open, I took one quick and last brave or foolish glance at the bottom of the stairs. He was there, standing at the bottom, arms at his sides and palms facing me. He appeared like he was laughing at me, bearing those ghastly fangs and blackened throat. Yet I heard nothing at all, and I wasn't intending to wait to hear it. I shot through the open doorway, bringing the door to a close behind me. But before it could latch on its own, it slammed up against me and threw my body into the wall across it, hard. In that moment, I lost the little composure I had left and broke down, crying as I lay on the floor in pain and absolutely traumatized. My friend's mother took me home, where I prayed with my father, who was unaware of the ordeal in its entirety. It took me many years before I was able to tell this story to friends and family, not for worry that no one would believe me, but because of the impact it has left me with. I get shaky and cold whenever I recall this event, and on occasion I'll hear someone relay a similar encounter, down to the creature's exact appearance. I don't honestly know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that other people are seeing this exact same entity. What does it mean? Who is he? And what is he? Maybe those questions will never be answered. Maybe that's the way it should stay. Because if I ever have to see him again, I don't think my mind, let alone my heart, could handle it. Thank you for listening. Thanks so much, guys, for checking out this single story episode. More full videos will be back when I get back into town. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget you can send me your true scary stories at darknessprevails.org/submit. I'm looking for creepy confessions from security guards. Until next time, guys, this world is a strange one, so stay safe out there and stay creepy.